What's up? I'm Aaron Cartier and welcome to my YouTube channel. In today's video, I'm going to be talking all about the pros and cons of being a flight attendant. I wanted to do this video because I know there are a few people that are getting ready to go through the training process for a few airlines. I know my airlines is going to start training in October, so I figured why not make a few pros and cons. I know there are a couple of videos out there like this, but I graduated from training 2 years ago, so I feel like with those 2 years I've experienced some things, I went through some things. So I wanted to come on here freshly, still kind of new, I guess you can say, and share what I feel like are the pros and cons of being a flight attendant. Like any and every job out there in the world, there are great things and there are bad things. That's just how life is. The good comes with the bad. So I figure why not make this video, let these people know, that are getting ready to go to the training, what they're going to experience once they hit the line and get out there and start flying. It's going to be different from everybody. What people may find to be some of the cons that I have may be some pros for them. What pros that I might find, some people may find to be some cons for them. We're all different, but these are the things that I've gone through that I have experienced and feel like, hey, these are not so great. Hey, these are some goodness, some great things about this job and all of that. So why not share the wealth, share it with the world, and put all of that out there so that you, if you're going through the training and you're going to graduate from training, which you are, you're going to be experienced once you hit the line and get out there and start flying the friendly skies. If you are new to my channel, hi, hello, my name is Aaron Cartier and I create fashion and lifestyle videos, a new video every Sunday. Please make sure that you do hit that subscribe button down below and become a part of the Diamond Squad. I would love to have you, and also make sure that you do turn on that notification bell and make sure that you do give this video a big thumbs up. That lets me know to keep coming back and creating these videos. If you are someone who is not new to my channel and you're coming back for another video, thank you so much for returning. I greatly appreciate it. You did not have to be here, but yet here you are, and I'm so thankful for that. Now let's go ahead and let's get into the pros and cons of being a flight attendant. So what I want to do first is I want to start off with the cons. I want to start off with, I guess, the bad, you can say, and then get into the good, lighten it up, put that cushion down and provide the goodness that is a part of the job. So let's first start off with the con. So my first con, because I had to make a list so I make sure that I remember every single thing that happens in this industry. The first con that I have for me is missing out on special moments. Now, when you get into this job and you are working in the airline industry, it doesn't even really have to be a flight attendant per se. But when you work in the airline industry, you're going to miss out on special moments because, as you know, flying, the airport, airplanes are open 365 days of the year. The airport is never closed. Airlines never close unless it's something major happening in the world, like we just went through the whole, panorama that pretty much closed down the airports and everything. But the airports and everything like that, they're never closed. So you're always going to be on schedule. You're always going to have something going on. You're going to miss out on special moments. You're going to miss out on things. Thankfully, for me, I have kind of maneuvered my schedule. The first year I got out of training and I started working, I thought I was going to miss out on Christmas. I thought I was going to miss out on New Year's. And those to me are really special moments in my life. I love Christmas. Like, that is really major to me. And I've had Christmas off the past 2 years. Well, of course I had it off last year because of what happened in the world, but the year before that I got lucky and I was able to fly home on Christmas Eve, and I was able to spend time with my family on Christmas, which I was so shocked by. I didn't think that was going to happen. And then I also got to be home for New Year's Eve, which I did not think that was going to happen either because I was on call, but I was able to get on a flight, make it home for New Year's Eve and go to a party. This was 2019. But you're definitely going to miss out on special moments. I've missed out on birthdays. I've missed out on Mother's Day. I missed out on Father's Day. I've missed out on Thanksgiving before. I missed out on celebrations for friends. I've missed out on graduations, things like that. You're going to miss out on special moments. So if being there for a special moment for your family, for your friends, is something that's very important to you, then you may want to take a second look, because you're definitely going to miss out on 1-year-old birthdays. You're definitely going to miss out on weddings, graduations. You're going to miss out on a lot of things with this job, because like I said, it's 365 days a year. The airport is never closed. So get prepared and prepare your mind, prepare yourself for that, and just know that that's something that's going to happen to you. Another con for me personally is my airline specifically. I don't know about every other airlines. I know that it's different, but for my airline specifically, you have to be on straight reserve for the first year after you get out of graduation. Now, what this means is straight reserve is where you're basically on call with the company. You don't know your schedule. You don't know where you're going to go. You don't know what you're doing. You don't know any of that. So you're basically just living your life for the company. It's going to be hard to make schedules. It's going to be hard to make plans for things like that until you start moving up in seniority, and you're able to get better days off when you create that schedule. But you're basically just going to be giving your life to the company. You're going to know when you're off, and you're going to know when you're on, but you're not going to know where you're going to go. You don't know if you're going to get a trip. You don't know if you're going to have to go sit standby at the airport for 6 hours of your day and not even get used. You don't know if you're going to bid for a trip, if you're going to be able to get it. You're not going to know anything. You're just basically going to know that, oh my gosh, tomorrow I have to sit in the airport on standby for 6 hours. Or, oh, tomorrow I'm on call for 12 hours of my day, or 8 hours of my day. Tomorrow I'm on call with the company. They can call me at any time and tell me to hurry up and get to the airport in 2 hours or 3 hours if it's 3 terminals that your city has, 3 airports, I mean, that your city has. You're going to have to be there. You're going to have to be ready to go. You're not going to know anything. So straight reserve for me was hard. I still am on reserve. I'm 1 on, 1 off, which basically means 1 month I have a line, 1 month I'm on reserve. So the months that I have reserve, I absolutely do not like it. My mom is always like, you do not like reserve, do you? I'm like, no, because I don't know my schedule. I don't know what's going on. Now, the past 2 months prior, I did have a pretty good reserve schedule when it was the summer, but now that we're getting into the fall, especially for September, my reserve schedule is not that good. It's not favorable. I didn't get any of the days off that I wanted, so that's a part of life. Like they tell us in training, you have to be a palm tree. You have to go with the wind. You have to be open to getting what you're going to get, because it's not always going to be what you want. The next con I have on my list is you're going to be tired. Be prepared and ready to be wore out, to be drained, to be tired, to be exhausted. You are going to be so tired because you're going into so many different time zones throughout your day. One day you could be in, Central Time, and the next day you could be in Easter Time. Then you can be in all these different time zones in one day. It's going to mentally drain you. It's going to physically drain you as well. So prepare yourself, have your coffee, have your Red Bulls ready. It's going to be one day that you're going to have to get up because your van time is at 4:30 in the morning. And the next day you're going to have to get up at 3 a.m. because your van time may be at 4 a.m. So it's going to be all over the place. Whenever I come home and come back, I'm always so exhausted. I literally have to sleep half the day away the next day that I get home, because I have to catch up on all my rest. My body has to get reconfigured back to getting on some sort of sleep schedule, even though a sleep schedule does not exist in this job. So if you're trying to have a consistent sleep schedule, when you get off and you're at home and things like that, then you can have something, but when you're working, there's no such thing as a sleep schedule. So don't even get prepared or anything like that. You're going to be on your feet. You can have a 9-hour duty day. You can have a 10-hour duty day, an 11-hour duty day, sometimes 12-hour duty day. So prepare yourself. Your feet are going to be tired, going to be hurting. You have to exert your energy, so much of yourself. You have to exert so much of your own personal energy to other people and constantly be perky and happy. Sometimes it can be a little draining and exhausting, always being upbeat. So prepare to be tired mentally, physically, just all the way around being tired, because that's just something that's going to happen. I've never met a flight attendant that is not tired after they get off of work. I've never met a flight attendant that's deadheading, that's going back from commuting, or anything that's on the plane that does not be sleep on the flight back. So just be prepared that you're going to be exhausted and wore out. Another con is more of a personal con for me. This may not be something that anybody else may experience, or anything else anybody else out there may have to go through, but for me it's commuting, and I chose to commute, so I'm really not complaining about it too much, because I still live at home in Nashville, but my base is all the way in Philadelphia. So the days that I do have to work, I fly to Philadelphia. When I have reserve months, it's more so hard as far as the commuting, because I may have 3 days off and then say, my reserve starts on Friday. But like I said, I'm not going to know what I'm going to get. So I'll have to commute in on Thursday. If I have to wake up early or something like that, or I have an early sign in, I'm going to have to fly in on Thursday instead of having my entire 3 days off. Now I only have two, and I have to go to be at base. But that's something that's more personal. You don't have to choose to commute. Most people fly to their base or live in their base, things like that, which is something I am considering in the long run future. I'm considering living at base or living somewhere close to my base, just because I don't want to commute all my life. That's not something that I want to do while I'm young and I'm still fresh and I'm still hip and kicking it. I'm okay with commuting because I still have the energy, but I know once I start making that really good pay and I start making that good money, I'm definitely going to live in my base or live close to my base if I'm not really, working out of a base that I feel like I can live in. So if you're somebody who wants to commute, definitely think about that, because you're going to have to leave the day before. You're not going to have all your days off. You may have 2 days off instead of 3. You may have 3 days off instead of 4. So just consider that if that's something that you decide that you want to do. So another big factor of us all getting jobs, because we want to have money, we want to have coins, we want to have doll hairs, we want to have the ching ching and all of that. So when you get out of training, you are not going to be a top tier money maker. Just know that you're going to be making the very bottom, the bare minimum, and you're going to have to work your way up to that seniority pay. A lot of people that I know, or a lot of people that I have met, have 2 jobs when they are doing this job as well. On their days off, they go work somewhere else, like a restaurant or a bar, or they may have a family-owned shop that they go work in. So a lot of people have 2 jobs instead of just having the one. Me personally, I only have the 1 job, but I am considering picking up some sort of side hustle, just because I did have another job while I got furloughed, and I did have my flight attendant job too, and I was getting paid for both, and I saw how much I was able to go spend like I wanted to, because next week I was going to have the money right back. So if you're somebody who likes to spend and you're somebody who wants to be cashy, then you definitely may want to go pick you up a side hustle. If you have a lot of bills that may get overwhelming, or you have a lot of things to pay for, you most likely will want to have you a part-time gig outside of this, just until you start moving up in the seniority and you really start making the coins and you really start becoming a cashy girl, because the money is not going to be there. I'm going to tell y'all a story. When I got out of training, I literally had no money in my accounts, barely, because in training, in my company, in training, you don't get paid. So I had to ask all my friends to send me some money, because I was sitting in the airport. I couldn't even afford to buy any food or anything. I couldn't afford to buy no food at the airport or anything like that. So just think about having a side hustle or stacking up a lot of money before you get into this, and you start getting those big checks, because you definitely can get it, but you have to work a lot. You're going to have to pick up on your off days and do things like that if you really want to have a really big check. But trust me, the longer you stay, the better it's going to get. They always say in training, the first year is the toughest year, and they are not lying. The first year is definitely the hardest. But stick it out, stay in there, keep moving up in that seniority, and you'll definitely get to where you want to be. So this con kind of ties into a pro, I guess. They kind of intertwine into one, because then I have the opposite for this in my pros. But the con is you're going to have to work with people that you don't like. Now, I know in jobs around the world, we all may have people on our team that we may not too much care for, that we may not too much like. Well, in this job, there's no different. You're going to have to work with an array of people that have different views than you, which there's nothing wrong with that, have different opinions than you, or you may just not match as far as energy. You may be somebody who is a little more introverted, and then you work with somebody who is so extroverted that they're just bouncing over the walls, talking, doing a lot. So you're definitely going to have to adapt to the different types of environments that you're working in and different types of people that you're going to be around, because it's going to be so many different people that you're going to encounter, so many different personalities that you're going to have to deal with. It's just so many different types of people you're going to encounter every single trip. So prepare your mind. If you're somebody who's more on the introverted side, you may want to learn, how to exert yourself a little bit, because you're definitely going to meet those people who are going to be like, oh, you're so quiet, you're so shy, and things like that. So just be prepared for that. That's not really a major con, but that's just something that I've experienced in my life. I'm more of an ambivert, I call myself. I can be introverted and I can be extroverted, and I'm just somebody who's very protective of my energy. So I don't always give my energy to everybody that I meet meet or open myself up to everybody that I meet, because I'm just the type of person that likes to protect myself and keep myself at peace, especially when I'm at work, because you're around people 24/7. So I'm just somebody who likes to protect my energy. So just be prepared for the people that you're going to encounter, learning how to adapt, learning how to, just learning how to be around it. Like I said in the beginning, you're going to have to learn how to be a palm tree, like they say in training, and go with the wind and sway side to side, because it's just going to be so many people pulling you left and right all the time. Okay, so enough with the bad. Let's go ahead and get to the good, because I really cannot think of any other cons for me personally that I've experienced. So let's go ahead and let's get into the pros that I've experienced, or the things that I really enjoy that I think is great about this job. Now, the number one thing is you get to travel the world. You get to travel for free, basically. That was my number one thing. You get to travel for free. Unless you're going international, you may have to pay some taxes, which really isn't that much, maybe like $40, $30 at the most sometimes. You get to travel, go places that you never even imagined that you would never ever go. I have been to London, I have been to Brazil, I have been to Bermuda, and that's just working. Like, if I didn't have this job, I would have never experienced any of these places. I would have never been anywhere in the world like that. There are still some places on my bucket list that I still want to go to, but to me, that is the biggest and greatest gift of this job, is that you get to travel, you get to go places. If you have friends that live 5 hours away from you, like flying time, or you have friends that live all the way on the other side of the US, you can basically go see them for free and hang out with them and still get to see them. Basically, you can go wherever you want to go whenever you want to. And that's one of the magical and greatest things about this whole job, is just traveling, being able to see many different places that you never would ever get to experience. Also, to me, is being in the hotels. I've experienced some amazing hotels and been in some amazing hotels as well as I've been in some awful ones, but the good ones outweigh the bad ones by 1,000%. I've been in better hotels than I've been in bad ones, and just being able to, be in those type of places. So when I do go travel on my own time, I know about, these hotels. I'm more cultured. I know about more scenery, more things. That's the best part, just getting to experience the culture and being able to really say that you have finally started to live. That's the best part of this job in my eyes. So for me, I have worked in like call centers a lot, and I've had places where I've been managed, and I've had managers and people coming to me and telling me, oh, you're not doing this right, or you didn't do this right, this is supposed to be like this, these numbers are right, you have to reach a certain goal by today, or you're not right, beating this, we're going to write you up. With this job, you're your own boss. You don't have no managers, nothing like that hanging over you. Now, you do have a flight service manager that you basically go to if you have, anything you want to complain about, you have any needs, you want to know why crew scheduling gave you these points, you want to know why this and that is happening. But your flight service manager is not really someone who is following you around, emailing you every day about what this and that going on. You're really your own boss. You only work with basically your pilots and your other flight attendants. You don't have no one hanging over you, telling you what to do. You don't have no one calling you, asking you why you're doing this, why you're doing that. You're your own boss. You don't have nobody questioning you the things that you do. It's so less stressful. And it's just amazing. I love that I don't have to report to anybody. I don't have to, tell anybody my business. When I get to my hotel, I can do what, I don't want to say do what I want, but when I get to my hotel, I can, hang out. I can, hang out with my crew. I can go out. I can explore. I can do so. I don't have to answer to anybody. And that's the best feeling in the world, because I'm a grown adult. So why am I having to, report to you and tell you everything that I'm doing in my life and all this type of stuff? That is amazing. Being your own boss is great, and I absolutely love it. So this kind of ties into what I was saying in the con about having to work with different types of people. The pro to that is you never work with the same people. Now, in the beginning, when you're on reserve and you're fresh out of training, you may work with some of the same people, like the people that were in your class, because you're both on reserve. So say 2, 3 people call out on that trip and y'all are listed right under each other, you may work with, you know, some people who are lower in the seniority with you. Because when I first got out of training, I did work with a few of the same people, like maybe once or twice. And on my reserve months, I have worked with somebody more than one time, but I've only worked with 2 trips with them so far. So you do work with maybe one person more than once, but you're never going to work with the entire crew more than one time or more than 2 times at that. And the great thing about that is if you don't get along with somebody, because it's going to happen, if you run into somebody that you don't really like, you're not going to see them again. You're not going to work with them again. So if y'all didn't get along with each other, y'all kind of had a little scuffle, you know, on the way to the hotel or on the plane, y'all were kind of getting on each other's nerves. You don't have to worry about, oh, I'm going to have to work with them again, because most times you're never going to see them again. Especially if you go to another base, you're definitely not going to work with them ever again. So that's definitely a pro to me, is that I don't have to work with the same people all the time, and I don't have to see somebody I really didn't care for again, have to deal with them. That is a huge plus to me. So something that I love about this job is that you have the option to buddy bid. And what that means is, say you meet somebody in training that you become besties, because it does happen, you become best friends, you become the greatest friends in the world, and you love each other so much, and you're based in the same city. So when you eventually do get aligned, that means you basically can work all your trips together. So one of my good friends, if you watch my other vlog, one of my really close friends, she lives here in Nashville, and she's also a flight attendant as well. So what we did for the month of this month of August is we buddy bid together. So all of our trips for this month of August, we worked every single trip together, unless we decide to drop one or something like that. All of our trips work together. So to me, that's great, because say you have people on your crew that may be a little more senior, they may have already been to that city before that you're going to, they may not want to go out, they decide they want to slam click, which basically means they don't go anywhere, they're not going to go out the door, it slam clicks at the hotel. Basically, you have somebody to do something with. You have a friend that you know, no matter what, if people aren't wanting to hang out, you can call each other, you can go explore the city together, you can go out and you can go get a drink together, or you can just sit up in each other's hotel rooms, you know, have a good time, kiki, laugh, hang out, talk, just chill. So I love being able to buddy bid and knowing that I have somebody there that I already know. I have somebody next to me that I can complain with that's going through the same thing as I'm going through. So we have each other to, you know, lean on when it may be a little stressful, when it may be a little tough, when it may be a little tiring. We have somebody that we already know right there in our corner. So if you meet somebody, or you already have a friend that's already in the airline business and working the same airline as you can buddy bid and you can work together, and that makes the whole experience 1,000 times better. So the last pro that I have for me is you have the option to make your own schedule. Now this can kind of be a con in a way too. I guess this is another thing that kind of intertwines with each other. Now when you're low on the seniority list, you can make your own schedule, but you're most likely not going to get what you want. When I got out of training and I was still based in New York, I was low in seniority. Of course, I'm still low in seniority. I've only been 2 years, but I've kind of moved up a little faster because of the thing that's going on in the world. So it hasn't been awful or really bad for me. But once you get out of training, it's going to be, you're not going to get anything you want. So you can make your own schedule as much as you want. You can put things that you want and stuff like that. You're not going to get it. So go ahead and be prepared to, you know, make that schedule, make it what you want, but be prepared that you're not going to get what your schedule that you want, especially if you're trying to get a lot of weekends off and things like that. You're not going to have that or anything, but it's also a pro because, I mean, you get to make your own schedule, especially when you move in seniority. You're going to get the days off you want. You can be home more. You can have weekends off here and there. Or if there's a certain city that you're wanting to experience that you found that you have loved while you're traveling, while you've been on reserve, you can bid for that certain city to lay over there as many times as you want, and you'll most likely get it. If you have something going on in your life, you can put that on your schedule to have those days off, and you'll most likely get it. So you can kind of build your schedule around your life somewhat in a ways, but this is more so when you get senior. You can build your schedule around your life. You know, you have a birthday coming up, you have a wedding, you have, you know, something that you're wanting to do. You can bid to have it off, and you'll most likely get it off. So instead of having just, you know, a Monday through Friday schedule, or, you know, a Sunday through Friday or whatever, you can kind of have spots in between. Like you can get some weekdays off, some weekends, and on top of that, you can get multiple days off back to back. So you can have schedule or a month where you have 6 days off in total. Like, you just have 6 days off to do whatever you want. You can go travel, you can sit at home, be lazy and do nothing, but you have 6 days off to just experience life, travel the world, take advantage of your benefits, and just do whatever you want in the world. So it can kind of be a pro and a con in itself. It's kind of intertwined in each other. It's just based on your preference. I do enjoy being able to make my schedule and being able to pick and choose when I have off. I just don't enjoy when I don't get what I want, but that's a part of life. We don't always get what we want. Like Naomi Small says, life's not fair. So you're not always going to get what you want, but at least you get to, you know, put in what you want off, and you don't have to, you know, be committed to a solid schedule that's always the same every single day. Alright, so I hope this video helps some of you that are getting ready to go into training, or some of you that are thinking about applying and becoming a part of the airline industry. I hope this gave you some points to think about, some things to research, because everything I say, like I said, is me personally and things that I personally experience and things that I personally feel like affect me. But definitely do your research, go out there, see what other people are saying, see what they're saying online, because everybody's experience is always going to be different. But I definitely hope this kind of gave you a little bit of nuggets to think about, some things to look into and all of that. But until I talk to you guys in my next video, like I say in every video, shine bright like a diamond, and I'll talk to you guys next time. Bye.